Hello, everyone. This is a Historathon 2025 Q1 update and kind of sort of summary book review of this book here, Europe Between the Oceans, 9000 BC to 1000 AD by a bloke called Barry Cunliffe. But Barry Cunliffe may have a fairly steady little sounding name. But Barry Cunliffe is one of the most important and distinguished archaeologists in Europe, according to the book. He has served on a variety of public bodies, including the Museum of London, the British Museum, the Council for British Archaeology, and is currently a Commissioner of English Heritage. He was knighted in 2006, and his archaeological career spanned over 30 years. He is Emeritus Professor of European Archaeology at the University of Oxford. So, we ought to have plenty of confidence that we are in indeed safe hands. And I think we basically well are. The mechanics of the actual book, this actual book, I did mention in a previous video the dimensions of it. It's much larger than a regular paperback. But that provides a couple of advantages. One, it provides a larger font, but also more room for illustrations and for bigger illustrations. So, for instance, I've got this one picked out. There. So that suddenly becomes terribly relevant when we're thinking about pre-Neolithic or Neolithic peoples moving around land and sea, so to speak. That one particular illustration really kind of suddenly provided a completely different perspective. Yes, and that is Knossos. That's the entire site of Knossos. So, well, there we are anyway. There's a couple of illustrations, for example, that really are extra to the actual text. They really are. And the text itself is very, very readable. It's very readable, and it's very lucid. So, all in all, it looks like it ought to be literally a perfect introduction to the entire period. And again, I think it is. I think it's very, very grounded in objective reality. That is, it's not subjective or not personal, not based on personal opinion or feeling without any evidence. It does not propound ungrounded theory. And it is not written by God either. Okay, I mean, if we are blessed, it is because of the vast amount of archaeology that has contributed very substantially to what we now know. What has emerged from that archaeological record is the extent to which people moved about Europe in order to stay put permanently or over fleeting journeys. During the pre-Neolithic era, as well as the Neolithic era. Perhaps the most eye-opening factor are the reasons for this movement that turn out to be material and relatable to today's world. Professor Quentin Skinner said back in 1997, quote, "History which does not inform present-day concerns amounts to little more than self-indulgent antiquarianism." Close quotes. I have Paul Kryacek. Is it Kryacek or Kribacek? It might be either. To thank for the reference. But otherwise, even the period of time covered in this book that begins all the way back, beyond the mists of time and out the other side of it, what the human race was doing then is of relevance to us today. There is good evidence for early sea travel, for a world that informs Homer and the peopling of Greece, for significant movement of groups over the Atlantic seaboard, and solid evidence of the calamitous so-called sea peoples. The Bronze Age is also made comprehensible fundamental factors are brought to light and subsequent evidence shows the direction of travel as things play out, in the shorter term and over many generations. Not untypically, there is the attention-grabbing fact of life, how some kinds of change can happen so very gradually, any one generation cannot possibly have any perception of the fact. And yet, we are enabled to witness it all from our current perch. There is also a welcome absence of grand claim and of discovery and of definitive understanding. We ourselves and the knowledge we have acquired are also evidently on the same arrow of time. So that's it. I recommend it to one and all. Bye for now.